paper 1 and a paper 2. And when we have 2 different papers, graphs, they become a section called functions. So it's like quite a big section by the time you get to matric. That's what it's called, functions. And that section all fits into your paper 1. So we build on graphs in grade 9, and then in grade 10, we add 3 more graphs. And then in matric, we only just do a little bit extra with graphs, and that's the end thing. So we kind of add our way as we go along. Now in grade 9, the only graph we have to know is the straight line graph. So it looks basically exactly as I'm saying, straight line graph, straight line. And that's the only graph that we look at in grade 9. In grade 10, we start looking at some cool graphs. So we'll look at a graph called a parabola, which looks like a happy graph or a sad graph. We'll look at a graph which is called a hyperbola, and it looks crazy. It's something like that. And we'll look at a graph called an exponential graph. So you know, like when people say something gets exponentially harder, they're talking about an exponential graph. And that looks something, that's terrible, exponential graph. That looks something like that. Okay, so we don't need to worry about any of these this year though. The only one that we have to think about in grade 9 is this dude over here, which is our straight line graph. Now, before we can get involved in the straight line graph, we have to actually understand what coordinates are and what the Cartesian plane is. So can you please let me know in the comments if you know anything about the Cartesian plane? So do you understand coordinates? Do you know where they are? Did you do them last year? Basically, just let me know where you're at. If you don't want to write a comment, you can also just unmute yourself and let me know. But all I want to know is, have you looked at the Cartesian plane at school? Did you do it last year? Have you done it this year? So just let me know in the comments for me.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
We've been working on the Cartesian plane for about a month to 2 months now.
Sure. That is a long time. Are you feeling tired of it?
Extremely.
Okay. I will try and make this Cartesian plane a much more exciting day for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And if you do get super tired of it, then I don't really have a solution. But just try and answer as many questions, and then maybe you'll feel like the time goes quickly.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so tested on it last year, and we're supposed to start with it. Oh, this week. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Jaden, you're going to be ahead of the crowd when you get to it in class then. Okay, you haven't started with it this year yet. That's not a problem. Apiwe, if the question is about the work that we're doing, then absolutely ask away. Welcome to. Okay, cool. Okay, so lots of people did it last year. Okay, cool. So if there is some kind of background in the Cartesian plane, then I'm hoping that this will all go quite nicely and we can move on to the sort of tougher questions a little bit quicker. So let's go through this. I'm just going to turn my video off so that I can write on my screen. Remember, at any point in the lesson, you can unmute yourself and you can ask questions, or you can put it in the comments, all of those options. Okay. All right, so let's have a look. So the Cartesian plane is basically when we have this grid over here, and we have 2 really important axes. We have the y-axis, so that's what this one's called, the y-axis, and that's our vertical line. And then we have the x-axis, which is our horizontal line. Okay, and it breaks up our Cartesian plane into 4 different quadrants. And this quadrant is quadrant 1. And then we move anti-clockwise. So that's quadrant 2. This is quadrant 3. And this is quadrant 4. Now, you're going to be like, why are you using these funny letters? Whenever we talk about quadrants, we always use Roman numerals. I'm not too sure what the reason is. That is just something we do in maths. We love a good Roman numeral. And the reason we work anti-clockwise when we're dealing with quadrants is actually because of a section called trigonometry, which we only start learning about in grade 10. But this is how our quadrants work when we're on the Cartesian plane. And whenever we have coordinates, we always look for our x value, and then we look for our y value. So if this is this point over here, that's 0, 0. And we also call it the origin. Okay, so if we talk about the origin, it would be that point over there. And then as we move away from the origin, numbers would get bigger. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And as we move to the left, they would get smaller. So -1, -2. And as I move up the y-axis, also my numbers are increasing. And as I move down the y-axis, my numbers are decreasing. So that's how we would fill in this Cartesian plane. Now, if I wanted the coordinates of this point here, let's say we called this point A. If I wanted the coordinates of point A, I first have to find my x value, and then I have to find my y value. And here, my x value is 3, and my y value is 2. So the coordinates at A are 3 and 2. Okay. All right. Is anyone uncertain where we are? Does anyone need to sit here any longer? Okay, cool. Okay, so we're going to dive into this. I'm going to go through a couple of them with you, and then I want you to find the coordinates, and you're going to start answering them. So you can unmute and answer, but don't unmute just yet, because let's give everyone a chance to do all of them. So for example, I'm going to write in my book, I'm going to say, well, A, let's find our x value. Our x value is 3, and our y value is 1. Remember, when you give your coordinates, you're always going to write it as x and then y. We have no hope at understanding graphs if we don't understand coordinates. So I'd love for you all to give these a try for me. I want you to find what they would be. So you would say in your book, you would write what B is, and then you'll say the coordinates of B. And remember, when you give the coordinates, they always need to be in these curl like brackets, and there needs to be a semicolon in between your x and y value. Okay, so I want you to give this a go. I want you to try and find as many coordinates as you can. And then, so I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. And when everyone's ready, we'll start going through the answers. Those of you who have done this last year or did it earlier this year, you should be able to zoom through this. Okay, so let's go through. Don't worry if you're not understanding. It's totally okay. This is, some people have done this and some people haven't. So don't panic if you're feeling a bit stressed. All we're doing at the moment is what you can see on the screen here is called the Cartesian plane. That's what its name is. So it's like, it's just saying what it is. And when we have a Cartesian plane, we always have two axes. We have this y-axis over here, okay, and then we have the horizontal x-axis. So we've got these two axes. When we have to give coordinates of a point on a plane, we always give our x value first, and then we give our y value. So if I look at B over here, I would first look at my x value, and my x value is 1. And then I'd look at my y value, and my y value is 3. So the coordinates of B would be 1 and 3. Does that make a bit more sense? Let me know if you still don't understand, if you're needing a little bit more help. So all I'm wanting here are the coordinates of these different letters that you can see on the screen. Correct. Oh, to be so, I see. Okay, so you've given the answer for K. Yeah, that's beautiful for K. Well done. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so Tabisa's given us an answer here for K. Now it's -3, because that's my X value, and my Y value is 2. Beautiful. Nice. Canva, let's see what you've given us. You're saying that J is 5 and -3. Let's have a look. J, our X value, definitely 5. Our Y value, definitely -3. Excellent. Well done. A P where, let's have a look. We've got Q, and we have said, oh, a P where you have fallen for the trap. Have a look at your Q. Oh, I can't keep up with you guys' answers. That's great. Keep them coming. Okay, let's have a look. Some P where we have L. Let's have a look at L. -4 and 4. Excellent. -4 and 4. Beautiful. Okay, let's keep on going. Zizipo, we have for N, -2, negative. Yay! Yes, you got it. Excellent. Okay. E. Oh, you chose a tricky one. Nice, Fancy. I like that you tried the tricky one since you've been doing this in class. 0 and 2. Great. Okay, so for those of you who are struggling with E, my X value is going to be 0 and my Y value is going to be 2. So when we have something which is on an axis, we're always going to have one value that's 0. Okay, so just be careful with that. Cool, I'm happy with the E. Nokubonga, we've got C. Let's see, 6 and 2. Excellent, 6 and 2. And we have H. So 3 and -2. I'm happy. 3 and -2. Thank you, Sia. Out of Oro, we've got C coming in. Let's have a look. C. Oh, see, we've got already. Nice. Well done. Griffin, H. 3 and -2. Awesome. Kabonga, D. Have I seen D? Well done. You also went for a tricky one. Excellent. 7 and 0. Tanash. Oh, Tanash, I'm worried I'm saying your name wrong. If I am, please just correct me. Just like unmute and be like, no, it's wrong. Okay. P, -4. Oh, careful with P. I like your -4. But the 0, not as much. Q, -7 and -5. Great. Well done, Griffin. It does get harder. Yeah. D, 7 and 0. Great. Nilwazi. G, 0, -1. Excellent. P, -4 and -3. Excellent. Have we got everything almost? M, -6 and 0. I think we have them all. Do we have them all? Am I missing any? F.
I can't find O. Like, is there an O or am I just missing it?
Oh, no, there isn't an O, and there's a good reason why we don't have an O. If we had an O, it would have to be there, and it would be us talking about the origin. So we don't use the letter O when we're on the Cartesian plane. Make sense? It's the same as if you have a circle. If you have a circle, they'll always label that circle O, and so it will never be part of what you get labeled. It's one of those things. We also try and avoid it in maths because it looks like 0. Okay, and then I. Thank you, Tansley. I missed I. 4 and -3. Are there any that I'm missing? A, B, C, F. We don't have F. There we go. Oh, see ya. It's close, but it's not right. There we go. 1 and 0. X first and then Y. Great. Okay, so this is the Cartesian plane. This is just understanding how coordinates fit together. And I feel like we all know what our coordinates are. And so I'm happy with that, which is great. Now let's try and start combining things together. When we're dealing with a function, or like what we're talking about now, when we're dealing with graphs, it's just a relationship between two or more variables. And when we're talking about variables, we're talking about our letters. So like X and Y. Okay. So this should be something that you remember from grade 8 when you did patterns and you did tables. It's nothing new. We're just going to go through it quite slowly and just explain a couple of things, and then I'm going to let you fill this in and we'll go from there. So let's start. Consider the rule y equals 2x minus 1. Okay, now when we're looking at this, our y becomes our output. So our answer, it's another way of saying our answer, and our x value is our input. So as x changes, y is going to change. They have a relationship with each other. So let's actually just write that in. So as x changes, y will change. They rely on each other, and for every x value, there will be a specific y value, and that's how we form our coordinates. So if we have a look at this table, we've got an input of an x value of -2. Now, if I put that into this formula, I would get y is equal to 2 times -2 minus 1. And 2 times -2 is going to give me -4 minus 1, which is going to give me -5. So when my x value is -2, my y value is going to be -5. So the first thing I want you to do is I just want everyone to complete this table. So if you're doing this on your side, don't spend a long time making this beautiful table that everything's perfect. Just get an idea of what numbers you're putting in and your x value and your y value. And I want you to fill this in. So I'm just going to give you a couple minutes to do that. Nice. Good. Kinsani, that's beautiful. Nice. Good. Yes. Great. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so we put in our input and we got an output. Now, what this has given us is a set of coordinates. So my x value is -2 and my y value is -5. Here, my x value is -1 and my y value is -3. Here, my x value is 0 and my y value is -1. Here, I have 1 and 1. Here, I have an x of 2 and a y of 3. And now I have an x of 3 and a y of 5. So we have given ourselves 6 coordinates that we can now use. Now I've got this plot drawn, but I'm actually going to erase it and we're going to draw one together because I'm assuming you guys are working on a blank piece of paper. And oh goodness, I want us to have the same thing because I don't want you ever to waste time like drawing in lines and drawing in blocks and numbering all your numbers. You never have to do that. Okay, so we're just going to do the same thing together here. So what I want you to do is I want everyone to get out their rulers. If you don't have a ruler with you, then use like the back of a pen and draw along it, but you want to get a nice straight line. Okay. And I'm saying this very hypocritically because I'm going to be drawing freehand. But don't be naughty like me. Be sensible. Get that ruler. All right, so the first thing I want us to draw is to get our axes. So I'm going to draw my y-axis, and I'm going to label it my y-axis. Nice straight line with your ruler. And then we're going to draw our x-axis. So everyone should have that on their piece of paper. Now, normally when we have to draw some kind of graph, either you'll be given a grid in a test or you wouldn't have to draw as many points. But for the purpose of this, we're just going to get an idea of things. So I don't want you to like write all the numbers, but I want you to give yourself an idea of spacing. So for example, I'm just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not giving myself numbers anywhere. I'm just getting an idea of where things would be. And then we're going to start plotting these points. So our first set of coordinates that we're plotting is -2 and -5. I'm kind of working with you with this question because the next one I'm going to let you do 100% solo. Okay, so -2, that's our x value. And then we're going to go all the way down to -5, and we're going to draw a dot. So -2 and -5, draw a dot. Next. -1 and -3. -1 and -3. Draw your dots. Next, 0 and -1. So 0 on our x-axis, -1 on our y-axis. 1 and 1. So 1 and 1. 2 and 3. 2 and 3. And my last one, 3 and 5. And I have plotted all 6 of my points. And now, if you had drawn everything with a ruler, when we get our ruler out now, I'm going to move my one dot. My one dot's going to cause us a problem. Oh no, look, I erased everything. That's so sad. Okay, we're just going to have to work along with this. Okay, I'm going to embrace this mistake though, guys, because otherwise it's just going to look very, very sad. It erased all of my erasing. So upsetting. Okay, let me quickly plot these for us. But yes, exactly. You'll get a beautiful straight line. Look at that gorgeous line. So take your ruler out, and now we're going to draw a line that connects them. We need to have an arrow at the top because it can go on forever. And we need to have an arrow at the bottom because it could go on forever that way as well. Now, when we're dealing with graphs, we also like to be a little bit fancy. And the same way as you have a name and you like to be called your name, a graph has a name and likes to be called its name. Exactly, Sia. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to give it its name. So we're going to say this graph is called y equals 2x minus 1. Okay, and that's, for those of you who haven't done straight line graphs yet, you have just drawn your first straight line graph of grade 9. And while it does get a little bit harder, if you understand these basics, it's actually all quite nice and easy. So let's just talk about a few important things while we're on this page. Firstly, I want you to start thinking about what you're seeing here and what you're seeing there, and notice that they're the same as each other. So that's not something you need to know in the lesson we're talking about today, but it will help you later on. And I want you to also to think, if you were looking at this line, does that line look like I'm going up a hill, or does it look like I'm going down a hill? What do you think it would be? Give me your answers, or you can unmute and let me know. Is this going up or is this going down? What would you say it is? Okay, we have it down, up, one down, one up, one up. Anyone other one want to give it a go? I want to try and answer. So we have some ups. Oh, both. Interesting. Okay, so I'm liking these answers. Well done. Think about how you read a book. If you're reading a sentence, you always read a sentence from left to right. And we do the exact same thing in a graph. So we read from this side to that side. And if I'm reading from the left to the right, then I am going up. And so we would say that this graph is increasing. So these are just words that are good to start getting into your vocabulary now, so that when we start dealing with functions, it's a little bit easier. Excellent. I hope you all found that super easy, because you are now going to do the next one all by yourself. Let's go. Enjoy. Same idea. I have a table. I have a rule. Fill in your table, find your coordinates, draw your graph, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay, when you are happy with your graphs and you're happy with what you've drawn, just let me know in the comments so that I can get an idea of where everyone is. Then I want you to think of a couple of questions for me. I'm going to use some words that we haven't necessarily used yet. Okay. Don't panic. Okay, so once you've drawn your graph, if you're feeling confident with your answers and you're happy with the graph, you can try and give these 3 questions a try. So the 3 questions are really for those of you who are finding this quite easy at the moment. And those of you who are still struggling a bit, just take your time, there's no rush. Yeah, are you able to do them all now? Can you give me answers for all 3?
Ma'am, when you say all 3, do you mean on the table?
No, I mean these purple 3 questions that I've written on the left.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. I'm really sorry.
Don't apologize, it's okay. But Sia, do you want to give me the answers for the table? You can give me those numbers.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
The first one, it's going to be 1.
Okay. For -2.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so just be careful here. I think lots of people have done this, so don't stress. If I have y is equal to, yeah,
Sorry, I wanted to say the answer is going to be 5.
yeah, yes, you stole my limelight, but well done. I'm very excited that you did. The answer is definitely 5 here because you see this negative and that negative becomes a positive 2 plus the 3, which gives me a 5. But what you've made is a very normal mistake. So just be careful. For those of you who didn't get 5, just be careful there. Yeah, Kinsani, nice. Kamba, yes, great. Okay, so my first answer would be -2 and 5. That's what my first coordinate would be. And then think about for your second one, we're saying negative, sorry, that doesn't really look like an equal sign, -1 plus 3, which will be 1 plus 3, which will be 4. Good, Tansley, nice. Kinsani, are you happy with that one? Double check it for me. Can I have a -0? What happens over here? If I have y equals -0 plus 3, can I have a -0? I can't, it's just 0. And so I'm just going to have a 0 plus 3, which is 3. Nice, Tansley.
Ma'am,
Yeah. How can I help?
When calculating for the output,
Yeah.
do you what if you didn't put like the brackets after the y?
So the problem with not putting the brackets is then we're going to have an issue with our signs. So it doesn't hurt us for these ones because they're all positive, but it becomes a problem for our negatives because the bracket makes us have a negative, which makes it a positive. So it is something we need to be careful with if we're dealing with negative numbers.
Yes. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
can please 2.
Okay. I couldn't hear you beautifully over Yile, but I think you asked me to re-explain this part. So if I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments because you're breaking up.
Yes.
So okay, I'm gonna have a look. If my input was -2, my output would be y, which is equal to -x plus 3. But now they've told us in this table that x is actually -2. So that's the same as saying y is equal to -2 plus 3. And when I have two negatives together like this, they become a positive because a negative times a negative is a positive. So that becomes +2 plus 3, which gives me +5. And so my final answer would be -2 and 5. And the same thing would happen then if I had a -1 and there was 0. But all I'm doing is I'm substituting whatever they want for x. So here I would have -1 plus 3, which is 2. So my coordinates will be 1 and 2. Okay, so once you've done all of these coordinates, then you can plot them on your graph and you should get a nice little line. And once you have a line, I want you to try these 3 purple questions I have on the left. And so for question 1 and question 2, your answers will be coordinates. And for question 3, it will either just be increasing or decreasing. I'm just going to carry on putting in these answers for anyone who is not there yet. Okay, so now draw your Cartesian plane, draw your axes.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
can I ask, where do I put the dot if the number is 0?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. So are we looking at this one over here? I'm assuming. So our x value is 0. So we're going to find 0 on our x-axis, and that takes us here. And then we're going to find 3 on our y-axis, and that takes us here. So it would be on that line. And if I look at this one over here, I'm going to find 3 on my x-axis, which is there, and 0 on my y-axis. And so it's going to be on that line. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay. It just takes a bit of practice. Let's plot some of these other ones. -2 and 5, -1 and 4, 1 and 2, 2 and 1, and 4 and -1. And remember, if you've drawn this, yours might not be a beautiful straight line because it's not all in proportion. So don't panic. But if you had to do it in a test, you would be given a grid. Okay, so we have a straight line, and we're going to give it its name, which was y equals -x plus 3. Remember to have the arrow at both sides, and you want to have a nice long line that goes through the whole Cartesian plane. Okay, let's have a look at some of these answers coming in. So we've got answers for 1, 2, and 3. First of all, I'm really enjoying 3's answer and saying that this is decreasing. It absolutely is a decreasing graph. Remember, when we read from left to right. So we read this way. And if I'm reading from left to right, I am going down, which means it is a decreasing graph. Okay, now let's look at these other questions. The first question was asking about a y-intercept, and this is going to be a word we use much more in our later lessons, but it means where is x 0? And so our y-intercept is there, which is 0 and 3. So well done to those of you who got that one right. Our x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis, or where y is 0. So it would be 3 and 0, and then it is decreasing. Nice. Nice job, guys. Good. Okay, can we go on to another one? I don't know why I'm asking. Because I'm still going to do it. This is going to be the last one I think that we're going to work through today. We're going to have a look. Okay, this is a little bit different. And I want you to try it as best you can. We're going to sort of talk ourselves through it a little bit. Your graph is confusing. Oh no, maybe one of the, I'll come back to that question now, guys. Maybe one of the points was just plotted incorrectly, sweetheart. I think that might be what happened. Do you want to just take a picture of this one so that you've still got it? And then you can have a look through it when you get a chance. That might help. Okay. Or Nokobonga, do you have a question about where something went so wrong?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So guys, don't worry. Remember, this is just our first lesson. We've got 6 of these. We're going to work our way through them. We're going to make sure we're happy by the end of it. Don't panic. Okay. I'm never going to throw you in the deep end. All right, let's have a look at this question. Here you've been given the function y equals 2x minus 1. And the first thing that I'd like you to do is to fill in this table, and you are going to choose your own x coordinates to find your own y coordinates. So some of you will have different x coordinates, and that is fine. So your first goal is to think, what x coordinates can I put into this table, and what y coordinates am I going to get as my answer? And remember, if you make mistakes, that is absolutely fine. That is the whole point of maths. You make mistakes until you don't make mistakes anymore. Okay, so what I'm wanting you to do is I'm wanting you to find some x values to put over here and then work out their y values. So you will all have different x values, but remember you want to keep them as values which will be easy for us to draw. So let's say I said -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, for example. Let's say I chose those. You can choose any x values you would like to choose. You're going to put them into the table and you're going to find the y value. That's all I want you to do. You don't have to draw it. You just have to find your x's and y's and then write out your coordinates. That's, for the moment, that's all I need you to do. You're welcome. Okay, I'm just going to start writing what my answers would be. If you're worried that some of yours will be wrong, you're welcome to send them and ask me to check. But if I had x is -2, then it would be y, which is equal to 2 times -2 minus 1, which is -4 minus 1, which is -5. So I'm going to have -5. Y is equal to 2 times -1 minus 1 is -2 minus 1, which is -3. And then I would have -1 and 1 and 3 and 5. That's what mine would look like.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I'm having trouble with the calculating. I don't know
Okay.
why.
Okay. Do you have your calculator with you?
Yes.
Okay. So grab your calculator for me. Whenever we do substitution, especially when we're dealing with negative numbers, it's really important that we use brackets. So if I'm looking, I'm just going to look at this first pair over here. Okay, so we've got y equals 2x minus 1. Wherever we have that x, I now want to have a bracket and I want to say -2 minus 1. So on your calculator, I want you to write it so it looks exactly like that. I want you to say 2 bracket -2 bracket minus 1.
So I got it.
Yay. Okay. It's all about how you put it into your calculator.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So what we land up
Mhm.
with is, yes, sorry, what's wrong, Sia?
Are we supposed to do B or just do A?
You can do B if you had finished A, you're welcome to start with B. But let's just first finish with A and then I'll come on to B. Okay. So
Okay.
for B, our coordinates here, because they want us to write it as coordinates. So I would say -2 and -5, -1 and -3, 0 and -1, 1 and 1, 2 and 3, and 3 and 5. So I have got 6 sets of coordinates. Okay. Now let's have a look at B. If the point -10 and y is a point on a line, determine the value of y. So now remember that whenever we're given coordinates, that is our x value and that is our y value. And it's saying if, oh goodness, sorry, my screen moved. If x equals -10, then what does y equal? And we've been doing that. That's the whole time. When we've been doing tables, that's what we've been looking at. We have an x value and we find a y value. And so all we have to do is put that into our formula. So what is y when x is -10? And it would be -20 minus 1, which is -21. And so we would say -10, -21. Well done, Kinsani. That was a beautiful answer. So it's not so bad, right? Graphs are all about understanding coordinates. If you're understanding this so far, then I'm super happy. Okay. I'm going to give you another question. Don't panic about it. I'm going to just remember it's y equals 2x minus 1. So read through the question, see if you're happy with your answer. And when you start having answers, start putting them in the comments for me so I can get an idea of where you're at. So think about what this question is asking. It looks more complicated than it is. It's saying if y is equal to 21, what does x equal? And I know you know how to work this out because we have been doing it in equations.
Ma'am,
X equals to
Yes?
x equals to 42.
Oh, we're getting all kinds of answers. So far we have got 10, we have got 11, we have got 42. Let's see what it is. Let's put it in and figure it out. Let's see who's correct. Okay, so we're going
I
to say
think the
y.
answer is 41.
You think the answer is 41?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's see. So y is equal to 2x minus 1. I'm actually going to write that. Oh, goodness. I'm going to write that step over here. Y is equal to 2x minus 1. And I'm saying y is 21, and I'm looking for x, which means the first thing I have to do is move that 1 over. The 21 plus 1 is equal to 2x. So that's a 22 is equal to 2x. Now, if I want x to be alone, I have to divide both sides by 2, which means x is 11. Those of you who got 11, give yourselves a big clap. Well done. So, Okobonga, you know what you did is you multiplied it by 2 instead of dividing by 2. But you did a lot of the hard work, so well done. So our answer here would be 11 and 21. Oh no, what's wrong with Zipu? Is it not going nicely? Does that not make sense? That's such a sad little face. Okay. Remember, it's just our first lesson. It will get, it takes time, it takes practice. One day at a time. Okay. Next one. Is the point 13 and 23 a point on this line? Remember, our line is y equals 2x minus 1. I want to know if it is or if it isn't.
it isn't.
Gamba just sneaking in there with a little answer. Okay, yes, you can tell me yes or no, but then I want you to give me, if you're saying yes, that's fine, it is a point. If you're saying no, I want you to give me the correct coordinates. Kamba, can I make you do something more? Can you also find out what the x value would be if the y value was 23? So for those of you who are finding this nice and easy, then try that as well. So try and extend yourselves a little bit. Nice, Jaden. Good job. Okay, I want to talk through this one just for those of you who are feeling completely lost with this question and you're like, no, I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's just talk through it nice and slowly. If I want to know if this point is on the graph, remember every x has its own y. They're like a married couple. Okay, we can't take them away from each other. And so I want to find out, does this y belong to that x, or has that y snuck in there when it shouldn't have snuck in there? And so I'm going to say, well, what would my y value be if my x value was 13? And I would see that my y value, that would be 26 minus 1, which is 25. 25 is definitely not 23. And so no, this point does not lie on the graph, because when x is 13, y is going to be 25. Exactly, Tansley, good. Now, my other question to those of you who are finding this a little bit easier is, what would that x value be if I did want a y value of 23? So let's have a look. So I'm saying my y value is 23. That's equal to 2x minus 1. I'm going to move that 1 over. So 23 plus 1 is equal to 2x. So 24 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, which means x would be 12. So it would be 12 and 23. Those would be the coordinates on this line. And when it says justify your answer with a calculation, it just means this. Just show me the working that shows that out. Okay, we have made it to our last question for the evening. Now, you should all be able to do this question without a problem, because I've just explained the last one for you. So I really want you all to give this one your best go. Is this point a point on the line, yes or no? And then I'm actually going to add another one on here. I know I just said it's the last one, but you know me, I like adding things. We're also going to say find, let's say find x if let me think what I want that to be. Okay, so D, is this a point or is it not a point? Show me with a calculation. And E, find x. Nice, Aviyile, well done. Yes. Okay, so for D, y is equal to 2 times negative 12 minus 1. Remember, those brackets are super important. Oh, you know what? I don't think you used your brackets. I think that's why it didn't come out right for you. Always use your brackets. So then we have negative 24. Ooh. Okay. Sorry, I did not mean to zoom in. Or scribble. So we have negative 24 minus 1, which is negative 25, which is the same. So negative 12 and negative 25 is definitely a point on the graph. Okay, and then the last thing I want is I want you to find x for me. Nice, Jaden, well done. So we're going to make y 39, and we're looking for x. I'm going to move that 1 over. The 39 plus 1 is equal to 2x. I'm going to divide, oh, sorry, that's 40. So 40 is equal to 2x. I'm going to divide both sides by 2, which means x is going to be 20. And so we would say 20 and 39. Excellent. Nice job, guys. Okay. I just want to get an idea in the comments with numbers. We're going to do our normal scale thing. So 0 means I have not understood one word you have said this evening. 10 means I'm completely understanding everything. Can you just give me an idea of where you guys are at? So specific, Kumba, I like it. Okay, just keep those answers coming in. 10 divided by 0. Offensive? That's undefined. Solid 9. Nice. Okay. Okay, cool. Guys, remember, you're all coming at this from different places. Some of you've done it at school, some of you haven't. So we're just going to kind of work through these beginning things really carefully so that when we start getting into the more complicated things, everyone feels okay and doesn't feel too rushed. Nice job tonight, guys. I'm really proud of you. I'm going to pass the mic on to Tula, and that is me for this evening. I hope you all have a lovely evening further. Bye, guys.
Hello, everyone. Hi, grade 9s. This is Tula, one of your Watobi mentors. I just wanted to, first of all, before we go into our usual slides, which is literally just going to be 2 of them, wanted to just thank you guys, those who attended there was a workshop that we had last week regarding meds anxiety, and just shout out to those who attended. We'll be sending more details to you guys who want to attend, I guess, in the next one that we'll have, and we'll share all those details. So those are really great, because math is not just about, just you being in class, but there's also a lot of things that a lot of people struggle with outside, like the nerves, like anxiety, time management, all that stuff. So we want to try to help everyone with all those issues. So just we'll keep you posted with the details regarding that. And now back to our things. It's going to be really quick because we did our leaderboard, I think, on our last lesson. So we're going to wait until the next one, because we tried to skip one in between to give everyone a chance to get as many activities as possible. So we're doing graphs now. As you might have noticed, I would hope. It's the 16th of August, and this was our first lesson, which we've just completed. And then our next lesson is going to be on the 18th of August, which is just in 2 days, and we'll be doing the gradient of a straight line graph. And as usual, you need to go to the Watobi app and go to graphs, and then do the activities there, do the exercises. And remember that we have quizzes in between. So make sure that you complete the quizzes, all the quizzes of, for example, the graphs, before we finish this particular session, this particular topic, which will finish on the 1st of September. So make sure that before then you have done all the quizzes. As we go along, as you understand more information, you complete the quizzes, and you make sure that you're following along, you understand, and that's how you'll get the most out of being here, So, but otherwise, thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you attending, and we hope you gained a lot from this, from these sessions, and of which we believe is the case, considering that we keep seeing the same names and you guys are participating. I don't know if Miss G has anything extra to add. Nothing.
No,
okay.
That's all from me. Have a good evening, everyone.
Awesome. Enjoy your evening, guys. You may leave the chat. You may leave the meeting. Bye.
Bye.